Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about real estate, your and my life, and our path to financial freedom. Look, I talked about how the currency outbreak's changing and how I think that we're going to come out the other side really making technology one with us, the way we operate, do business, and a lot of industries are going to change. Banking, education, real estate being one of them. And in the past two videos, I've talked about, if you still want to know about it, but I've made a video on how you can buy a ready property with rental income in Dubai completely remotely, not being present here, and also sell. You kind of like just flip the process. If you want more information, reach out to me. Before I move forward, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. This video is my favorite because I'm going to talk about how you can buy a property pretty much off plan, okay, online, but you're buying an off plan property, okay, so something that's under construction or ready to be handed over, but it's a primary sale from a developer, okay. Now there are some advantages to the current market scenario in buying directly from the developer, okay? Simple math, if you buy from the developer, you are in position to save approximately 7% of the price of the property, okay? So when you buy a resale property, technically the way the market norms are in Dubai itself, you pay approximately 7% on top of the property price. So if you're buying, let's say for instance, a property worth 2 million dirhams, you're going to be paying about 150,000 dirhams in terms of transfer fees, agency fees, some ancillary fees to the developer, NOCs, etc., etc. So there are advantages to buying from the developer. The one of the things that you might be thinking is, well, you know, when you buy from the developer, you're buying off plan, which is under construction. What about the risk? Listen, Dubai government has put in place so much regulation to make sure that all stakeholders are protected, especially the investor who's putting money to buy the property. But one of the other things that the current market has as an advantage is because of the slowing sales in the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of developers have ready stock. What do I mean by ready? The building is either ready to be completed and hand over in 2-3 months. You can actually physically visit the building, or the building is already rented, ready and handed over, and they've got ready units that they're willing to sell to you, acting like the developer, making sure that you don't have to pay the 7% cost of the transfer, etc., etc. Okay, so there are advantages, but how would you go about this process? Okay, look, like everything, okay, in life, okay, you have to follow a process, okay. The more I do this, the more I recognize that the process is very simple, but if you choose not to follow it, then you're gonna actually be one of those 7 out of 10 people who lose money in real estate, regardless of which country, city you invest with, regardless of what time you invest, right? It doesn't matter if the market's going up or down, you're gonna lose money. I guarantee you that if you don't follow a process. It's as simple as baking a cake. When you bake a cake, there's this toothpick test at the end. You put a toothpick in the cake, bring it out. If it comes out dry, the cake's ready. If you don't use this test, right, I'm just talking about one little thing that you need to do if you're baking a cake. If you don't use this, you might take the cake out and it still might be uncooked from the middle and soggy, and you can have runny eggs in the middle, right? So you don't want that. So with, like everything else in life, buying real estate has a process, right? Which makes my life easy for me to be an expert, because I've codified 14 years of my real estate experience, all the hurt, the pain, the money that I've made and lost in a secrets map called realestatesecretsmap.com. I hope that's the address. The realestatesecretsmap.com or real estate secrets map. My team's going to put the address at in the bottom. You can download it. It's free. I'll pay for shipping and handling. Just get it from there, okay? So with, like everything, there is a process that I describe on evaluating and then qualifying and filtering down to the actual or exact developer and exact project that you want to buy, right? With a trusted advisor on board, it's down here, it's very easy for you to be able to do that, okay? A lot of developers, especially the senior big developers like Emaar, which have handed 50,000 plus apartments across their 25 years of history across the world, are starting to now release 3D walkthroughs. The thing is, the 3D walkthroughs have been in the market for like 10 years, but 3D rendering walkthroughs of apartments that are going to be built or villas that are going to be built weren't the norm. People used to sell off this big mock-up build up of an entire community and then brochures, right? But we're far off from that. We're now at the stage where you can have 3D walkthroughs, so you can actually walk through, evaluate, look at floor plans, etc., etc. But before you even get there, if you're not buying from a tier 1 developer like Emaar, I always suggest that you might want to do that. But if you're buying from some other developers, there's a couple of things that you want to do, or you want to have a trusted advisor, somebody from me, my side, my team, do this for you. Number one, look at the project status, okay? So the Dubai government has, you know, the sea outbreak is a situation where the Dubai government is kind of like already planned for, not planned for it, but it's so prepared for it, because you can actually check if a project is registered with the Dubai government, thereby knowing that it's legal for the developer to be selling it. And the Dubai government has very stringent policies in place for a developer before they can start marketing a project. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but they're very long list that the developer needs to fulfill in terms of being able to start selling and marketing a project. If they have already done that, then they go into something called a project status tracking database, where you can actually go, or your advisor can go and look at the project, look at the status, look at the escrow account, right, of that project. Nothing in Dubai in terms of real estate can be sold off plan if it doesn't have an escrow account. The escrow account protects the investor to make sure that any money you pay to the developer goes to the development of that project. The developer or their son cannot buy a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, or take holidays to Monaco or to other places of the far off world, okay? That money needs to go to the development of that project, okay? So make sure that these things are in place, and then you start the evaluation. There's tons of things that you need to evaluate, and an experienced hand can guide you through them one by one, right? For instance, I'll give you an example, okay? Let's say you're looking at a project where the developers advertised that the distance to the airport is about 10 minutes, okay? Now this is something that in the brochure or online on the PDF brochures, it's gonna stand out to you, and you're gonna be like, hey, this is great. So, you know, in an international city like Dubai, you obviously want to be close to the international airport, which is the busiest airport in the world, beating Heathrow, I think 2-3 years ago in terms of the number of passengers that fly through Dubai airport, right? But is it always true that it's 10 minutes away, the airport, from the development? Maybe. On a Friday morning, Friday is generally the weekend in Dubai. On a Friday morning with no traffic, everybody's sleeping, maybe it's 10 minutes, right? But during rush hour, maybe it's 17 to 20 minutes. Not that big a difference, but you want to suss those things out. And I'll tell you this: the main big developers like Emaar, they don't fudge the numbers. They actually state it like it is. So if the airport's 17 minutes away during regular traffic hour, they'll state that it's 17 minutes away, okay? So you need to be able to do that. It's very easy. I personally would go to Google Maps, check the direction, check how much traffic there is on that road. Obviously during the lockdown period, you can't assess that because roads are kind of empty, but after the lockdown, before the lockdown, and with my experience, right, if Google is telling me 10 minutes, right, end to end, A to B, your project or your building to the airport, then I can assess on a busy day, this could be 20-22 minutes if you take into account the traffic signals, etc., etc., right? Also, you want to look at the views, right? For instance, and now I'm just giving you certain tips and tricks, but there's many things that I would go through if I was looking at a project, right? I would actually physically visit, right? But you want to actually physically visit and then look at the views, because sometimes the developer, they're going to tell you Gulf view, but the Gulf view from your apartment's going to be only from one balcony, okay? And when you look at the Gulf view from only one balcony and the other balconies are facing the community, you might feel kind of cheated. So you might want to actually assess it completely. Or if this is the building and in front of you is the Gulf view, then the developer will smartly put an apartment on the side. Now, I'm not saying the top developers do this, but some do. They'll smartly put an apartment on this side and have a balcony that's hanging over on this side, so that if you stand in here, you're able to see like a 45-degree golf course view or canal or water view, right? Which is okay, but then it needs to be reflected in the price, right? So if every apartment that says golf view carries a premium of 10%, and your apartment, which has only 45-degree angle golf view, also carries the same premium, not fair. You need somebody to actually physically go there and check, okay? The 3D walkthroughs, I want you to be a little bit careful with this, okay? And I'll tell you why. You know, when selling property in Dubai off a brochure was the norm, okay? There are entire communities like the Arabian Ranches, Damak Hills, etc., which are great communities. I don't take anything from them. These old communities were sold off brochures, okay? Agents would open big, glossy, flashy brochures and show your apartment, so on and so forth, okay? And now you've got the 3D walkthroughs, okay? Now, what used to happen in these brochures, it used to feel, I would say up until 7 years ago, the developers could kind of put anything and everything in there to make the sale. What do I mean, right? They could make the lobby look like you're walking into the Plaza Hotel in New York, or the Atlantis Hotel, or the Fairmont Hotel in Palm Jumeirah, right? And they could make the lobby look like that, right? And the developer has no intention of making the lobby actually look like that, but that's how it looked in the brochure. And then things have changed, and developers have started becoming more responsible, because the real estate regulatory agency in Dubai has started holding the developers accountable to what they sell in their marketing collateral. Believe me, I've read the laws of the Dubai Real Estate Regulatory Agency, the Dubai Land Department. The laws are quite comprehensive. Even if they're not long, it's very easy. You can download it online, literally read through it. The developer is responsible, and the agent who's selling you a certain apartment is responsible for whatever is written in the brochure, for whatever has been promised to you verbally or in written, right? So I've had a case 7 years ago, 8 years ago, where the developer had said tennis court in the marketing collateral in the brochure. I'm not going to name the developer, but at the time of handover 2-3 years later, do you know the building did have a tennis court? Do you know how nice that tennis court was? That tennis court was as big as 2 bedrooms put together. So what the developer had done as an afterthought was thought about, hey, how do we fit a full tennis court in here? Well, we can't. There's not enough space. How do we manage to put a tennis court in here? Let's put it on the rooftop. Hey, rooftop's got utilities like air conditioning units, etc., etc. Well, how much space do we have on the rooftop? Well, we've got this much space. We'll put a tennis court in here, put the lines around, make it look like a tennis court, put a fence around for the balls to. Well, obviously at some stage the balls are gonna fly off the roof. But I might understand, if I put myself in the developer's position, they might have said, look, we had the intention to put a tennis court, it kind of like got fudged, we couldn't, so we managed to do what we could. But from a perspective of the end user, hey, you promised me a tennis court. I want a tennis court. Where's my tennis court? This small little court that you've just drawn lines across doesn't mean it's a tennis court, right? So that's going to affect the future property of my value. But yeah, who's going to go to court, right? It's going to be difficult, right? Nobody goes to court who's serious about saving money. You only go to court if you got a big ego. That's my personal opinion. So now you got to be a little bit careful with these 3D walkthroughs, okay? Because here's what's going to happen. The developers, now I'm not talking about the top developers like Emaar, but some of the developers are going to allow their marketing teams to access those companies that are making these 3D walkthroughs, right? And those companies and the artists might, because to impress and make the sale, like to add some pizzazz, some polish, some shine, right? Maybe it's not marble tiles, but it looks like marble tiles. Maybe it's not wooden floors, but it looks like wooden floors. Maybe it's not marble countertops, but it looks like marble countertops. Maybe it's not Swarovski crystal chandeliers, but it looks like Swarovski crystal chandeliers. If they start putting these in these 3D walkthroughs, you gotta be careful, right? You can't buy a mid-level apartment and accept that glitter there. So you gotta discount it so you know and make an informed decision, or you gotta push it to the developer in writing. Hold them to this, right? So you or your advisor sends them a note. Take screenshots of these 3D walkthroughs because they're not going to be available when the building gets handed over. Takes the screenshots and tells them, I want you to confirm that this floor is going to be marble, and you will start seeing that the developer is going to start replying to you with all honesty and start telling you, hey, it's not marble, it's ceramic. It's not Swarovski crystal chandelier, it's this, it's this, it's this. You know what? That's fine. Just want clarity, right? Floor plans, be very careful, right? I've just had a very close shave with an investor of mine where one particular requirement that we had was there had to be access to the balcony from the master bedroom, and we were buying off a floor plan. Excuse me. And the problem was that the way the floor plan was, it was so tiny and puny that it seemed that a balcony that was running the length of the entire apartment, you had access from the master bedroom as well. But you know, and that's what the agent promised us. But lo and behold, we kind of like sneaked into the building. Shouldn't do this because you know there's other implications of safety, security, and insurance. But you know, when push came to shove, we kind of went in. Some engineers were kind enough to give us hard caps and stuff, and we took care of our stuff that we needed to do. Well, they tried to arrange hard caps, but we couldn't. And then we kind of like, but this was a building that's close to completion, so it wasn't like very dangerous. Just letting you know the honest truth. But then we went there and we found that the apartment doesn't have access to the balcony or the terrace from the master bedroom. We kind of went ahead with the deal anyways because we kind of figured a way around it. But you need to be very, very sure. One of my agents, one of my friends, a close friend who I've known for 6-7 years, very professional, very honest. It hurts him if an investor ever buys a property and is not at least 90 to 100% satisfied, right? He sold a property with one of the top developers. He sold a villa to somebody, and off the main big mock-up plan, the whole thing seemed that it was very close to a mosque. His villa was very close to a mosque, right? And after 3-4 years, he's excited, his family's excited. He's looking to go and take handover of his villa, and he finds that the mosque has been replaced by a grocery store, right? Actually, it wasn't even a grocery store, it was a petrol pump station, right? Now, there are positives to this, you know, because, hey, if your villa is very close to a petrol pump station, you know, in Dubai, the petrol pump stations have all these mini marts, so you can always get milk, etc, etc. But he didn't want a petrol pump station. Maybe it's not that bad to have a petrol pump station, but he wanted a mosque, right? Now here's the thing, right? So for my friend, and this is the advice I gave you, if a mosque is so important for you to be at walking distance, or if the exit is so important for you, you gotta document that, right? Because the developers are allowed to make certain limited changes to their full development, right? So if they were going to put a full tennis court here, they're allowed to put it somewhere there, right? If they're going to put a full water body or a pond or a park here, they're allowed to put it somewhere else, right? But if it's so important for you, my suggestion is you put it in writing and send it in writing. It's very easy today, right? You take the master plan, make a few circles to your actual villa where it is. Agents are very smart when they want to sell it, right? So if you want to tell them, hey, can you pinpoint my villa on the entire master plan, they'll nicely put a comma or a screenshot it and put a dot and send it to you. And you can use that same, take a screenshot, put some dots around there and say, I want you to guarantee, and ask the developer to guarantee that this is going to be a mosque, this is going to be a park, this is going to be, because you're going to be paying a premium to be close to a park. Now, if they move the park or they choose not to make the park, that affects why I paid my extra money. I want to put it in writing. I'm not saying that when it gets done, you should go and seek compensation, but I think that you would be in a strong situation or a position to speak to the developer and communicate your concerns, and they will look to find you a solution. Okay, These are the kind of things that you can do online. Your private trusted advisor can do for you, or somebody from my team. After this, this video is gonna get long, but after this, you move into the negotiation phase. After you've selected negotiations need to happen in writing. I'm right now in the process of negotiating a huge discount from a developer, but it's all in writing. Don't verbally do nothing. I've got a template. It's called the offer to purchase. Download the real estate secrets map. You get an opportunity to download that template as well. You need that template to make a serious dent in the way you negotiate, okay? Enough said, I'm not going to talk much about this. Okay, closing and paperwork. Here's the good thing about buying directly from a developer. All the paperwork can be done remotely. All of it. You don't need to be physically present. You don't need to be physically present in Dubai. Right now, the way it is, the first step, if you've identified the apartment, is you sign a reservation form. This reservation form can be signed online, scanned back and forth, but within a month or two, this is going to move online, okay? There are services such as DocuSign that I use with all my clients. Even I'm not signing any documents now in real. Like, I only sign them online and send them to my team, and they send them across. So I guarantee you this. So the process is the reservation form, which is the actual initial form for you to initiate your binding interest in that particular property, and then they take the unit off the market and out of their system, and you pay a 10% deposit. Sometimes can be done online by the developer filling it out, scanning it over to you signing it and scanning it back, and transferring a 10% deposit to the developer's escrow account. At this stage, the developer then prepares something called a sales and purchase agreement, which can be anywhere between 15 to 70 pages. I've seen them. Generally, they would make 3 copies and give you all 3 copies. You initial most of the pages and put your signature, your autograph in some of the pages, and then the 1 copy stays with the developer, 1 copy, then you give all 3 back to the developer. The developer signs and stamps and gives 1 copy back to you, 1 they retain, and 1 goes to the Dubai Land Department. All of this can be done via FedEx, because you can receive all the, I've done this in 2013. I send a SPA to the UK and so on and so forth. So this is simple, but this is going to move online very fast, okay? Guarantee it's going to move online very fast, okay? Then something, after you've done the SPA, something called a DSR gets initiated by the land department. So it's very interlinked. You sign that again remotely, and then your property under your name, whether it's off plan, ready, under construction, gets registered in the interim register in the Dubai Land Department called the Account, and you get a physical or sometimes an online title. It's a pre-registration title deed, or it's called an Account. This is a title deed for a property that's not ready right now, okay? It's under a payment plan. So look, there you have it, the entire process described. I'm not going to encapsulate it again, but just to quickly give you a rundown. Look, run the process to evaluate and qualify the property. Check project status, check escrow status, and then do the evaluation and due diligence, checking distances, views, physically visiting, floor plans, walkthroughs. Be careful of the 3D walkthroughs today. Then the negotiation. You gotta get your best price under the current scenario. Use the offer to purchase template that I've got. Go to the realestatesecretsmap.com. You'll be able to get the real estate secrets map, my 14 years of experience encapsulated, and then you can get the offer to purchase template as well at the later stage, right? Put your money where your mouth is. It has to be a written offer, and then you go and move on to the actual closing and paperwork process. I've already described it. It's very easy to do it remotely. Don't think that now's not the time. Now's the time to make a purchase. Get the deals. You know, when you wanted to make 10% ROI, rental yield, now's the time, because you can push the prices down. Hit me, press the subscribe button. Don't hit me, press the bell icon. Send me questions by WhatsApp if you want. I'll answer them sometimes here. If you send them to me in the comment section, I'll still answer them here so everybody else can benefit. You want to work one-on-one with me? Hit me up on WhatsApp. I'll explain to you how I do charge for my time, or you can work with one of my teams. Talk to you soon. Bye. Ciao for now.